Brain Hub, where curiosity meets opportunity in neuroscience. Come listen today.
Hello everybody, welcome to Brain Hub. My name is Karina Belcourt, and I'm president and founder of Brain Hub. And this is my team. My beautiful vice president, Karina DePaula. Then we have our Madam Secretary, Madysen McDonald. And then we have our creative director, Milind.
Kunky Potty.
Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, we're here just to talk about why we started Brain Hub, about our scientific struggles in the scientific world, and yeah, just to talk about basically anything that is on our mind.
I'll go first. I'm Karina DePaula, like she said, and I'm a Cog-Sci major with a specialization in neuroscience. And I think for me, the biggest part of why I was interested in Brain Hub in the first place was really because I was looking for some kind of direction to go into, some kind of help with finding research, labs, volunteer work, and also just being a part of that community, you know what I mean? There's no neuroscience group at UCSD. We are the first club for aspiring neuroscientists and also psychologists and biologists as well. We have two physicians and physicians and musicians
and neurosurgeons
and neurosurgeons. Yeah. And we're the first group with these like-minded individuals, and I'm able to communicate and connect with peers who want to do the same things as me, and I think that's awesome.
I also think that's awesome. I remember how we first met Madysen, and she was like, I'm struggling with these things to find research opportunities. I'm struggling to find any basically opportunity to kickstart my career in neuroscience and to be somehow visible to all of this neurotech or medical companies that actually provide opportunities for students like us. So Madysen, do you mind sharing your experience?
Yeah, I think it's one thing going into your bachelor's program and saying, well, I want to be a neurosurgeon and I want to do all these things, and I think getting there, combined with just being in college and having that be new, it's hard to know exactly what to do. You want to go into something and say, well, I have research lined up and I have a lab position lined up, when really you just are starting and you're in a couple classes and you don't know any of your professors yet. And so I think coming together for this group was really important to me, because I know there's a lot of, even within a surgical field or becoming a doctor, there's a lot of, I don't know the exact phrase for it, but it's pre-med secrecy. Almost people who have been through pre-med won't really share their experience because it's so competitive. I think that's kind of messed up. So I think it's cool to come together as a group and to kind of say, hey, we're in the same boat or a similar boat, and let's work through it together. Let's find opportunities. Let's talk about the things that we're passionate about. And I think that was definitely the number one goal for me.
For sure. Milind?
Yeah, so my name is Milind Kunky Potty. A few weeks ago, Karina, our president, DM'd me on Instagram, and I make a lot of video content, and when I looked more into Brain Hub, I saw that this would be a good chance to combine video content and my passion for neuroscience behavior, and it's really just an amazing way for me to combine all my passions. And I really got into behavior during high school. I did a lot of research in psychology, and I continued that as I got into university. But even as a second-year pre-medical student, I still feel very lost, and Brain Hub is a good chance for helping people find the resources they need, helping them alleviate that feeling of feeling lost along their pre-med track or just any track in the neuroscience-related fields. So it's a really good chance for anyone who is very confused on their undergraduate journey and just needs some help.
For sure. I think that you guys mentioned that very important thing about being lost. And I feel that a lot of students kind of hide it because I'm a college student, I have to have everything figured out. I have to understand if I'm going to medical school right away, if I'm going to the pre-med track, right? If I'm going to the research and PhD field, or if I'm not actually in that sort of stuff and I'm going to somewhere else. And I think that was me in the very, very beginning of like fall quarter, when I was DMing every just recently graduated student, like psychology, clinical psychology especially, student, like, hey, do you know the great difference between going to like medical school and going to get my PhD? Like, how is that different? Why should I choose one over another thing? And I felt so confused, and people were like, you have to just understand your passion. And I'm like, okay, but I'm so confused. There are no resources in one place for me to help get this lost feeling into something more productive and actually like trying to figure out stuff. So I feel that this is our primary goal, is to focus on our members, provide for our members opportunities, interact with our members, and just create opportunities for them to explore first. So we have a lot of students of different majors. We have non-medical majors. We have non-future neuroscience PhD majors. We have Comp-Sci majors. We have design majors. Basically everybody, even undecided majors, who are just here to figure out what is it that drives them, that actually moves them towards something great, important, and something interesting that they want to find. And I feel that understanding brain and behavior in this case, and psychology and neuroscience and neurobiology, at least basics, helps us understand our own nature. Helps us understand, okay, if I feel this way, maybe I shouldn't do it. Or maybe it's vice versa, maybe I should go there and explore myself in this or that direction. And so I feel that it's important for us to connect and, have this great team creating opportunities for other students, for other members. No matter what gender, religion, major you are, you will find yourself here.
Yeah, that's what I really like about Brain Hub, is that when most people join college, they don't really know, like, for sure, 100% what they want to do. But Brain Hub's kind of that place for people to find, oh, I want to be a doctor, oh, I want to go more into neuroscience research, or, oh, I just want to learn more about myself and how my brain works, so then I can just branch off from there. So I really like that Brain Hub gives people that opportunity to just explore themselves and figure out what they want to do.
And I also feel like, because I was thinking about this, I was like, I mean, it's important to have, pre-med people and neuroscience people, but brain information applies to everyone and everywhere. It's the way you see the world. I mean, it applies to every single thing we do, even just like choosing what you want for breakfast. What kind of neural pathways are going on there this morning when I woke up and ate my oatmeal? There was something going on in there. So this is a thing that's applicable for everybody, no matter what your major is. And I think one of the members who reached out to me she's in design. And she wants to learn more about, the neural mechanisms behind design, right? There is ways to connect brain information with every single career path. And I think that's beautiful.
I also think this way.
Yeah, I think one of the most inspiring things for me at our first GBM was having so many people come in and, we went around and shared, what's your major? Do you have any goals in terms of neuro? And a lot of people just saying, well, I'm interested in the brain. And I just thought that was so cool, because it's just a chance for people to come together and say, like, this is something I'm passionate about. I don't know if I'm going to do anything career-wise with it yet, but, like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, not even pre-med, not even, like, bio. Just, I'm a designer. I have nothing to do with this. I'm a lit major. I'm in communications, but they're there. It's really cool.
I think that what's amazing about Brain Hub is that we are kind of spectrum. So people from undecided to future physicians and future scientists come and unite and communicate and interact and explore themselves through actually getting their ideas from their brain to actually like saying it, voicing it, and actually trying to be an active part of the Brain Hub.
Well, I think the other interesting thing about Brain Hub is just the fact that we're going to kind of breach the barrier between students and faculty members. So here at UCSD, we have a lot of esteemed faculty. It's like a big research university, right? But the thing is, it's hard to talk with them. The lecture halls are huge. There's hundreds of people. I'm sitting there in class, and there's like 100 people behind me. And I'm like, how do I talk to this professor? There's a huge line. I'll be waiting there for like 10 minutes after class. And there's this huge line. It's so difficult to have a connection. So I think one thing that's really amazing about Brain Hub is just kind of like bringing the faculty to you. So you can go there and you can have this kind of close, communication with esteemed faculty and researchers that you don't have like in your daily life.
For sure. I remember that on our previous GBM we were talking about like addiction, and I feel just adding up to I guess the point of Madysen previously, I completely agree with you on connecting research and faculty, but just an idea to kind of put it on top of the Madysen's thought is that I feel that even if you just come and sit there, even if you're not psych, neurobiology, or like neuroscience, anything related to brain and behavior, like academically, you can just come sit there and see actually how you can improve yourself by just basically knowing the basics of neuroscience. Because the other day we were talking about addictions, and I feel that a lot of people shared something very personal. A lot of people had something related to addictions and their families, and it was kind of touching subject, but we shared all of it together and we tried to figure out what was the problem and how to basically treat it, not from a, hey, do this, do that, but how can we solve this problem in the world? And I feel that this scale of thought process inside Brain Hub, how can we change the world? How can we solve this problem? How can we improve this thing for all of the students in the world, or something like that, is great, because I feel that sometimes students are feeling in the bubble, like the only thing that matters is, grades, and that's it. And maybe one day, someday, I will be doing something great, but not today, because today I'm just doing math or something like that. And I feel that it's important for us to stimulate our brains for
something else, kind of beyond just academics, school,
Exactly.
homework, sleep, wake up, eat, homework, especially with the quarter system.
Oh,
It's horrible.
yeah, let's talk about that. It's another episode of Brain Hub podcast.
We need a whole hour just for that.
For sure. How do you guys feel about connecting faculty and students? Do you think Brain Hub is something that can solve this gap, just as Lena said?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think as a student, what you were talking about earlier, it's hard to see yourself in the position that you want, even if it's something that you have as like a goal for yourself. You're like, oh, well, one day I'll be there, but for now, I just need to pass math. Or I just need to get through this chemistry class, or all these other things. I think with Brain Hub, it's a bit more attainable. It's a space where you can sort of proactively go after that goal that you're going for, and I think one of the aspects of that is connecting with faculty. And instead of, cold emailing or waiting after class for a short 2-minute conversation where they probably don't even get your name.
Yeah.
And all
That's
those
true.
things. I think it's just a more proactive way of approaching that without making it feel so hard or it requires more.
Yeah, restating that idea, most of your lecture halls, they have 300 something people.
Oh yeah, that's
And
true.
It's kind of nerve-wracking to talk during lecture, or even just waiting in that line after class. Brain Hub sort of creates a more comfortable environment for you to just talk to these professors in a smaller group setting. And that's really something we like to emphasize, how discussion-based our meetings are. And just that aspect of the meetings where everyone goes around and shares their stories, that's one of our favorite parts of our meetings. So we sort of create a more comfortable environment for everyone to discuss, and this sort of alleviates a lot of stress when it comes to talking to professors, exploring yourself, and that's really amazing about Brain Hub.
Yeah, for sure. How do you guys feel about our members opening up on our...
I loved
Yeah.
it. I was so I was not expecting that, because at first it was there was that silence, nobody was raising their hand.
First time
The
is always...
first time. But then one person started talking, and then somebody else started talking, and then over time it was everyone said something, and it was so beautiful to see people actually participating, and it felt like I was connecting with these, with my peers, with my fellow classmates. I was so excited after the meeting because I didn't think anyone would share because, we're all shy.
Yeah,
I don't like to share sometimes, but they did, and that was crazy.
That was awesome.
Especially with a topic such as addiction, I feel like it's super hard and it's very vulnerable to share something like
for
that.
Sure.
So it was really amazing to see that everyone was willing to contribute, and it just made our meeting so much more amazing for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Brain Hub, I have this kind of association. So I always sit in the front. No matter what lecture it is, I try always to sit in the front because I feel super overwhelmed when I sit somewhere in the middle or in the end. I see all of these people and I'm like super nervous to ask questions when I see all of these people like looking at me back. And I feel that it's a basic psychology of everybody. And so I think that this is kind of what Brain Hub also solves. You don't feel this tension, exactly how Milind mentioned. You don't feel this tension of actually asking something, of telling something, of sharing something. And then what I like the most is that people are actually active in terms of, hey guys, I have this idea. So I had around 5 people coming to me after the meeting on the Friday, and then they're like, you know what, I have this idea. Do you remember that guy? He was like, let me invite my TA.
Oh,
Let me invite my
that was
TA.
so
Let's
cool.
talk about that. Let's talk about this. And I feel that in Brain Hub, you feel like you are valuable part of this organization. And I'm not sure how others do it because I've never been to other kind of organizations or GBMs. You guys have more experience of that. Do you feel more passive in there, or do you also like interact a lot?
I feel like most of them lack that sort of discussion aspect that we have. Whenever I go to GBM, it usually feels like a lecture. Like we like to emphasize that our GBMs aren't like a lecture. We want everyone involved. I actually as a freshman last year, I joined 4 or 5 clubs.
Oh wow, you had time.
But I attended the first GBMs and they all felt like lectures. So next week I never went back to any of them. So
yeah, that was another thing for me that was I think separate from the whole neuro side of Brain Hub, which is obviously super important. I think if people can even come out of GBMs feeling like, oh my gosh, I could really open up, I could really share, that's an accomplishment in itself. And the fact that we had people come to the first GBM and then come back the week after was I wanted to cry. I was like, oh my gosh. So I think that in itself, separate of whether they end up going into neuro or anything pre-med related or anything like that, I think it's just cool to know that people feel comfortable enough to share.
Yeah, and I think Milind and I think both of you brought up a good point about just it's not a lecture, right? Because this is 6:30 on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Who wants to go to their 4th bonus lecture of the day after a week of back-to-back classes and PowerPoints and homework? I mean, that's the last thing you want, right? So it's more of a safe space. Especially about neuroscience. It's so hard. It's so difficult to understand. So much vocabulary and jargon. I mean, nobody wants to just sit down there and learn about the prefrontal cortex, let's be real. So just having a discussion, having that aspect of it, I think is what makes people come, because it's kind of fun,
Yeah, and I also think that, I remember we were talking about how there are amazing organizations at UCSD about pre-med, about psychology, and neurotech, I guess, or cognitive science, but they are so focused on specific things, specific areas, which I don't think is bad. I think it's amazing if you already know where would you like to go, in which direction. But I feel that in the very beginning, a lot of us are confused. Again, coming back to the very first topic of being lost and being confused and just where to go, how to do all of this stuff. I have no clue, right? So I feel that if you're feeling lost, we are the first stage, the first step you have to take in order to kind of then understand where exactly would you like to go, in which specific area or specialization would you like to go. So I think that's also great because everybody can come as long as they're current undergraduate UCSD students. I think it's important to mention. But yeah, I feel that it's an amazing feature of Brain Hub.
I had a question for everyone that I just thought about right now. What are you guys all most excited about to do in Brain Hub? Like, what are the big dreams that you have for this organization?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm such a dreamer. I have all of this.
Gonna go.
I envision Brain Hub as not just specific to UCSD. I feel that we can for sure develop it to something larger and like even maybe embedded to every university. That's just a thought. Maybe not.
Cool.
We will work on that. But I feel that primarily, like the nearest future, I think we will host exclusive events with scientists, with outside companies, with outside healthcare companies, and stuff like that. And I feel that's going to be amazing because students at UCSD will actually have an opportunity to touch, right? To touch the field, to speak to those who are already successful in this.
Dr. Huberman.
Yeah, Dr. Huberman. Yeah.
Dr.
For sure. Like if you like Dr. Huberman, right? Oh gosh, that's awesome. Okay, I mean
That'll
if
get
it's
us
recorded-
attention for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. Okay, yeah, and I feel that just growing, just providing more opportunities. My vision is that as long as we are beneficial for our members, there is no stop for us in growing. As long as we provide more, as long as we develop ourselves, our team, our vision more, we can be whatever we want to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm most excited for as well. Like, right now we probably have a little bit over 15 members. I can't wait to see once we have thousands of members.
Oh yeah,
And
that's true.
all
That's
those
true.
collaborations we're going to have with all these companies, big scientists, Andrew Huberman.
Oh no, wait.
Yeah, but I'm just really, really excited to see where this grows. And I know that with the team we have, we're all willing to put in that work and just like grow this thing together.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I guess this is a really far ahead thing, but I think the coolest thing to think about is we're already inviting people to come talk, and I'm excited for the days when we're inviting past Brain Hub members back to talk to people in Brain Hub and to say, I was an
Oh my
undergraduate student in
Yeah.
Brain Hub.
I never
I
thought
was
about that,
sitting
but it's so
in a
great.
lecture hall or in a classroom having these conversations. I went and did this, even if it's not neuro related, just to say, hey, this is what I ended up doing, but I remember when I was here too, and
Yeah.
things were hard and everything was super uncertain, but I had a group of people to
For
like
sure.
connect with.
We'll
And I
all
think that's
just go
really
back.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
also important to mention those people who will in the future get success because of the Brain Hub. Not like primarily because of the Brain Hub, but I guess just to kickstart their careers and like talk about that when they were feeling confused and they joined this new organization at UCSD and they kind of figured out through opportunities, through research feature that we do every GBM. Every GBM, we provide research feature for you guys. Yeah, just opportunities and how they succeed and how they met new people. Because, again, coming back to the interactivity of our meetings, they're not just static. You're sitting there and listening to us talk or to someone else talking. I feel that it's important to unite and connect people within our meetings. So.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think what Milind said about we just started and we have 16 people and we have people coming again for the second
Yeah.
time. We already have like a group of people that are going to continuously come, hopefully.
For sure.
I guess we'll see,
For
right?
sure.
But I mean, I'm just thinking, in a couple of months, it could be 50. And by the end of this year, how many, And we're so new and we're already starting like that. I mean, we were just talking about that a couple weeks ago. I mean, we came up with this idea. Karina came up with this idea.
It was actually so
Fall.
random. It was so random. I remember Lena sitting behind me in my Psych 2 class, and we were kind of just, talking about the class, I guess. And then I randomly dropped the idea that, hey, you know what? Do you know any neuroscience-related organizations that are not like super heavily pre-med, but also not super heavily like psych? Something in between, everything in one place. And she was like, yeah, no, I have the same problem. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I was just joking, actually. We're joking. I was like, we have to create, like, student organization focus on, like, neurotech and neuro stuff and neurobi and stuff like that. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And the next week, we are doing it. And then the next week, Madysen comes.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, guys, I feel the same way. And it's, like, so random. First quarter of our freshman year.
Yeah.
And we're here.
Yeah. Well, I remember meeting Lena through Run Club, and then I found out we had the same chemistry class. And so we get together and study, and then she came up to me and she was like, hey, so we had this idea. And then I think it all just kind of kept going from there, and I think that was really cool. I didn't expect to know, like, so many people who had the same questions as me.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's part of Brain Hub, too, is we all have those questions. So
We all have those
we all
questions.
come together and sort of figured out together. But yeah, that was... I think it was unexpected so early, kind of like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool that we are already at this point, second quarter, when literally last quarter we were just dreaming about.
Yeah, right.
doing
Yeah.
these things.
It's like so fast, but I think because of our passion and because we're like so motivated to actually do this and we're so proactive and just passionate about what we're doing, this is why we are moving so fast. This is why we're growing so fast. And I feel that we are so diverse that whenever we have our conversations, team gatherings, right, there's always something that everybody contributes that is unique to Madysen, that is unique to Milind, that is unique to me, and then to Karina. And I feel that it's amazing to actually have that type of the team. This is why I'm so proud, and I'm always talking about how I like my team and how I actually appreciate these people.
Aww.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to add really quick just about each member. I remember very like vividly Madysen talking about the MD PhD program.
Oh yeah.
And you have like your associates, and I was like, when Karina reached out to me and was talking about having a secretary, the first person was like, it's gotta be Madysen. I was
She was just like,
so
I have
smart.
someone who I'm running with, but then she's amazing, and I was, oh my gosh, that's awesome. It was just like 2 days after we joked about it. Interesting.
And then the same thing with Milind. I remember Karina telling me about Milind, and then I go on his Instagram,
And there's
and it's
this
a video that was on my feed. I was like, I saw that on my feed, and I was like, oh, that's so funny. It's UCSD, and that was your video.
Exactly. Do you remember like the one that like everybody screams?
Yeah,
before finals.
For
So
finals week.
this is the person who
This
created
is the
it.
man.
This is why we brought him and like reached out, and I was like, honestly, when I messaged you, I was like, oh, probably he won't join because like he's so popular and stuff like that. He's like an amazing content creator. Why would he joined Brain Hub, just super young organization, and he was like, yeah, I'm super interested, and I was just. Oh my
was
gosh,
shocked when I saw
I
the
was
video.
so happy at that moment because it's almost like a fate, like a destiny for Brain Hub to succeed, and I really feel this way. I feel that we will succeed as long as we put our hard work, as long as we put our passion and prioritize our members and doing just great stuff. I guess that's gonna make us succeed and be unique. Be unique. That's it. Okay, I think that's it for today. We're just briefly talking about Brain Hub, briefly talking about all of us. You will see more of our episodes in the future, but yeah, I think that's it for now. Drop your comments in the somewhere below. In the somewhere below. Put your suggestions, put your ideas, and just join Brain Hub at UCSD. Thank you everybody. Bye!